What's up, Juventini? Alberto here. I got all your Juve news, all right? Target list, and Juve apparently heating up the press for one of their targets. We'll go through the details there. Contract extensions, especially the change in the latest around our red-hot striker, Dusan Vlahovic. And then training Chiesa, he goes down again. The latest on his situation, how this heats things up on the decision and the current situation around Chiesa and Juventus, and what the Azzurri have to do in all of this as well, all right? And then the midfield set to face Napoli. What is going on in training? How could we shape up? All that and much, much more. So like the video, subscribe to the channel. This is the AJC. Let's rock. We're going to kick things off with Arthur and Caio Jorge. All right. So Arthur has interest from Sporting Lisbon. All right. So does Caio Jorge. And the latest reports suggest that Juventus could move both of these players and then use that money to reinvest in the midfield. Koopmeiners being the main target. We will get to that in a second. But we are hearing that Caio Jorge, Juve wants to renew, all right, extend that contract and then send him out on a loan. So it's still yet to be determined if they will sell outright. For Arthur, this is great news. If we could get other teams interested, this could help push Fiorentina over that edge to make the sale final, as he's having a strong season and showing for the Viola. So we will see what happens there. As far as Koopmeiners, like we mentioned, him being the main target out of the midfield, 65 to 70 million euros is the valuation. Apparently talks have already been underway between Koopmeiners entourage and Juventus for the potential move in the summer. We will have to wait and see, all right? But we have other targets on our list, and it is said that Juve is getting very serious about Gudmunsson of Genoa with a 30 million euro valuation, all right? So we will have to keep tabs on that particular player. Scalvini, who many Juventini would like to see join the club, his valuation 50 million, deemed too high for Juventus. We just throw that target name in the back pocket, see what develops, as well as Brescianini. But Lazio and Atalanta also interested in that player, all right? So we will see what develops there. As far as our midfield currently, obviously having a little situation to deal with ahead of this game against Napoli, and that is with McKennie and Rabiot both being out. It is said that Danilo is a potential option at coming in to help, but he is still training separately from the group, all right? And he did so today as well. He is going to be tested in full group training later on this week to see if he can make it in there. But Cambiaso is said to be the one that is going to jump into the midfield next to Locatelli, with Alcaraz being on the other side. This also seemingly shows us another scenario that's gone down, and that is that Miretti has fallen completely to the bottom of the pecking order should this happen, all right? And it is being reported that his future does seem away from Juventus. That doesn't mean they're saying that we're going to sell him outright, but a loan at minimum is probably what is going to happen with Miretti moving forward, and I think that is the right decision. Now, furthermore, in training, we get to Chiesa. Chiesa goes down again, all right, suffering a knock, a blow to the ankle in a challenge from Alexandro. And the good news is it's not terribly concerning. He should be okay. Tried to make his way back onto the pitch, was limping noticeably. Allegri sent him off the pitch to close out the training session for himself, all right, to just take a precautionary measure. Now, what's interesting here is the whole scenario that you have cooking up here around Federico Chiesa, all right? I think the most concerning thing, not the injury here because it seems to be okay and nothing serious. The most concerning thing is he couldn't beat a dusted Alexandro, all right? But nonetheless, Chiesa, this situation that keeps brewing here, and you have media that is fueling this Chiesa versus Allegri scenario, when in actuality it is going to be Giuntoli versus Chiesa, all right, in terms of this negotiations and what is going to happen. But these stoppages, these injuries, whether it's a knock or not, which these things do happen, it's another stoppage. It's something else he's got to get over and get back in there. The bottom line for Chiesa, he has to get into the lineup. He has to stay there consistently. He has to produce, all right? Now what's going on and what makes things very, very interesting with Juventus and where their stand should be and what move Giuntoli makes. Because while everybody is pushing this Chiesa versus Allegri thing, Allegri isn't safe either. Giuntoli could easily make a change there this summer. There are 4 people calling the shots here. A lot of people like to act like Allegri is in that mix. He is not. It is Elkan, Calvo, Giuntoli, and Mana. Those are the 4 making the shots. Not even Cherubini is in that list, all right? So those are the 4 calling the shots. Listen to everything that's going around too. Last year, you had meetings, okay? Meetings with coaches, Tudor, Conte, etc. Sergio Conceição, brought to us by Mirko Di Natale, all right? Now, this, we already hear there's been talks with Motta, and that came from Nico Schira, all right? So there is very much the possibility of them making that change, but it is Giuntoli calling the shots. When it comes to Chiesa, now you have an interesting scenario for Juventus because the Azzurri could be looking at making a formation change, all right? I'm not going to buy into this. He's not going to get called up. Like Gazzetta's going wild with that one, okay? Absolutely, he's going to get the call. However, Spalletti could very well change to a 3-4-1-2. If Chiesa is unable to showcase himself in that tournament, all right, if Juve was looking to make a sale and cash in, the value doesn't go up, you have an even more difficult decision to make with this player. For me, though, Chiesa, as an individual, doesn't have a lot of leverage in terms of going for more money based on what he's been doing in the setup, everything. Like, it's just, he doesn't. The injury concerns, the fact that he could be a Band-Aid. For me, 1-year renewal, same money. You can put bonuses on it that are incentive based, but I would do that and then see what happens with the Euro tournaments and move forward and give him 1 more year to prove himself. Otherwise, then you sell and see what could develop as far as the value. But that's the route I would take with Chiesa. I don't know if you agree or disagree, but that's the beauty about the comment section. Hit me with what you think with this ongoing Chiesa saga. Now we get to Vlahovic, who was a part of a similar saga last summer, but now he is red hot for the second half of the season in 2024, making his case to remain. And apparently the latest rumors suggest Vlahovic would like to extend 2 years, and he is obsessed with relaunching Juventus to the Scudetto, all right? All positive things, all things you want to hear. He has made his case. A 2-year extension, spreading out the salary too, would be brilliant for Juventus. So fingers crossed that this goes down, all right? So let's see what happens there with Dusan Vlahovic. Last, certainly not least, Zidane. Zidane constantly in these rumor mills about coaching and whatnot. And finally, you know, it's laid out with everything that we think. Almost like this pipe dream for a lot of Juventini, but stressing something, and everybody seems to be stressing the same thing, and that's that the team is not in the shape for Zidane at the moment, and the financials are not there to pay a guy like Zidane to come in. The quality of this roster needs to be addressed regardless of who the manager is. And I've been saying this for quite some time. Even with these young players that are doing well, etc., we can't tip the scale too much on the young guys. You want to keep grooming them. That's what Next Gen's for. That's what loans in Serie A are for. But only the select few that are actually at this level to contribute to the first team should be integrated into the first team. Our focus should be on more polished, ready now players who are also young. That doesn't mean that these guys that are ready now have to be 29, 30 years old, etc. No, you find them in their mid-20s, okay? And some are ready to go in their early 20s. So age isn't really of the concern. It's their abilities, their skills, and how ready now they are. Juve needs to get the quality boost done on this roster, regardless what happens. All right, so that wraps up your news break. So sorry to crush the dream on Zidane, but it doesn't appear anything's happening. But again, listen to what we're hearing, because Schira said no contacts for Zidane, Conte, but meetings held with Motta. And again, I stress, while everybody's looking at Allegri, everyone's looking at Chiesa, Giuntoli is the one to look at. And media right now is taking advantage of everything. And they are doing that because Juve is working so hush-hush that nobody has any idea what Juve is going to do. And the media is taking advantage of this by creating absolutely any scenario they want to, and taking advantage of the fact that curiosity is at an all-time high around this Juventus side. Take everything with a grain of salt, everybody, and let's follow everything day by day and see what happens. But let's stick to the big guns, those big three, Romeo, Mirko, and Nico Schira especially. All right, so let's see what goes down. That wraps up your news break. You guys know the drill. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, share the content, but let me know what you think about everything you just heard in the comment section. Let's mix it up. I'll be back tomorrow with another edition. As always, fino alla fine, Forza Juventus. Ciao tutti.